as a Jamaican, what that means for me, I feel that what he's trying to do, what is he going to go by everybody's house and bust up in their door and ask them for their papers? He's setting us back 200 or 300 years.
I just want him to go because he will kill all of us over here. I don't want no trouble.
Could be.
When it comes to immigration, Donald Trump and Kamala Harris are worlds apart. Trump has echoed the words of Adolf Hitler, claiming that immigrants are poisoning the blood of the United States.
And it's true. They're destroying the blood of our country. That's what they're doing. They're destroying our country.
When it comes to this election, I said this, we did not have the desired outcome. There are some people who are celebrating and some people who are heartbroken by this moment. And we understand that. But the reality is majority of the American people voted. And so we're going to respect that.
My issue with that is that he wouldn't be differentiating in the immigrants that he's referring to, legal or illegal. You know, he's just going to make a sweeping change.
At that time, she said several Jamaicans were saying Mr. Trump would have been their pick.
For the Jamaicans that I've spoken to, most of them want to vote for Trump because they say most of the males want to vote for Trump because they say that they're able to make more money when he's in power, which is really weird for me because to me, there's no huge difference.
Now, after the results, I spoke with several Jamaicans in America who said they gave Kamala Harris their vote.
For me personally and my family, we just have to watch, wait, and continue pushing for progress. When I saw the numbers last night, shocked, turn the television off because that could not be true, could not be happening.
I did support her. She did her best. Unfortunately, I don't know if everybody went in and voted.
While campaigning, Trump promised the biggest mass deportation of undocumented migrants in U.S. history.
That is a tough one. For all the things and what you have said and what you have said he's gonna do as for immigrants and everything, I don't even know how to answer that.
I posed this question to Erwin Clare, Managing Director of the New York-based Caribbean Migrant Services, early October. Since the campaigning would have started, a lot of talk is being made about immigrants.
Yes.
Would you say that Jamaicans living in the U.S. now should be worried? His response?
If you think Project 25 is a reality, then yes, you should be.
Mr. Clare said he believed most Jamaicans have secured themselves in a position where there is recourse.
When I say recourse, I mean opportunities for them to do different things. But in general, we are not unlike any other immigrant group in this country that are concerned about some of the wordings of some of those persons who aspire for a higher office.
Remarks estimated there are some 11 million people living illegally in the U.S., 7 million of whom are known to the government. During his first term as president, Trump enacted travel bans on Muslim-majority countries, implemented a policy of separating children from their families at the southern border, and made some advances reinforcing a wall along the U.S.-Mexico border. But if he's elected to a second term, Trump and his allies are promising to go much further, vowing to facilitate mass deportations, using the U.S. military to round up millions of immigrants and send them back to their countries of origin.
And they do come from prisons and mental institutions, and they are terrorists. And we're going to be paying a price, and it'll be the largest deportation in the history of our country.
For her part, Kamala Harris has tried to focus on what she calls root causes of the immigration crisis. As vice president, she traveled to countries such as Guatemala, where she came under some criticism from progressives in her party when she warned would-be migrants that they would be turned back at the border.
I want to be clear to folks in this region who are thinking about making that dangerous trek to the United States-Mexico border. Do not come.
Although it was an issue in her portfolio, Republicans have falsely claimed that Harris served as President Biden's border czar. But they have correctly pointed to a record number of illegal crossings of the U.S.-Mexico border in the last 3 years. However, those numbers have plunged dramatically since June, when President Biden issued an executive order to effectively shut the border to migrants seeking asylum when crossings exceed 2,500 per day.
Here is 2024. The political landscape of the United States has just been shaken to its core.
Donald Trump has just secured a second term as President of the United States. His victory speech echoes through the nation, a stark reminder of the divisive campaign that led to this moment. This victory has been met with a mix of jubilation and despair. For some, it is a triumph, a validation of their beliefs and hopes for the future. While his supporters celebrate, a palpable fear has gripped many Black Americans and Latinos. They watch the news with a sense of dread, their faces etched with worry. They see this victory as a validation of Trump's divisive rhetoric and policies. Policies that have often marginalized and targeted their communities. The future feels uncertain, marked by a sense of unease and vulnerability. The streets are tense, communities on edge, bracing for what might come next. For many Black Americans and Latinos, Trump's re-election feels like a step backward. It conjures memories of past struggles and hard-won rights that now seem at risk. It signifies a return to policies they perceive as discriminatory and harmful. Policies that threaten to undo decades of progress in civil rights and equality. They worry about the impact on their families, their communities, and their very way of life. The fear is not just for the present, but for the future generations who will inherit this reality. The anxiety is palpable, a heavy weight settling upon their shoulders. Conversations in homes and community centers are filled with uncertainty and concern. This fear is not unfounded. It is deeply rooted in a history of systemic racism and discrimination that has long plagued the nation. It is rooted in a history of systemic racism and discrimination, a history that has seen countless struggles for justice and equality. It is fueled by the rhetoric and policies of the Trump administration, policies that have often been seen as hostile towards minority groups. The president's words and actions have created a climate of fear and hostility towards minority groups. His statements have often emboldened those with racist and xenophobic views. This climate has emboldened those who hold racist and xenophobic views. It has given them a platform and a sense of legitimacy. The re-election of Donald Trump has deepened the divisions within American society. Communities are more polarized than ever, with tensions running high. It has exacerbated existing tensions and created new ones. The nation is grappling with a profound sense of division and discord. The nation stands at a crossroads, facing a choice between unity and further fragmentation. The path forward is fraught with challenges and uncertainties. The path forward is unclear, but one thing is certain: the stakes have never been higher. The decisions made in the coming years will shape the future of the nation for generations to come. The idea of leaving America is not new to Black Americans. For centuries, the African American community has grappled with the harsh realities of systemic oppression and racial discrimination. From the early days of the Great Migration, where millions moved from the rural South to urban centers in the North, to the more recent waves of expatriates seeking solace abroad, the quest for a better life has been a constant theme. The blackit movement, a term coined in recent years, reflects a growing sentiment among some Black Americans who are disillusioned with the state of affairs in their own country. This movement is not just a fleeting trend, but a profound expression of frustration and a search for alternatives. It represents a collective yearning for a place where they can live without the constant fear of racial violence and systemic inequality. They are seeking refuge from what they perceive as systemic racism, police brutality, and a lack of economic opportunity. The daily struggles and the emotional toll of living in a society that often marginalizes and devalues their existence have pushed many to look beyond the borders of the United States. The economic disparities in urban Black communities, coupled with the decline of industries that once provided stable employment, have exacerbated the sense of disenfranchisement. Many feel that the American dream is out of reach, prompting them to explore new horizons. Driven by a desire for safety, equality, and a sense of belonging, some Black Americans are looking to other countries as potential havens. They meticulously research travel plans, seek out communities that welcome them, and embark on journeys that they hope will lead to a more fulfilling life. Ghana, in particular, has become a focal point for this movement. The West African nation, with its rich history and cultural heritage, offers a sense of connection and belonging that many Black Americans yearn for. The West African nation has actively encouraged the return of members of the African diaspora, offering them citizenship and promoting initiatives like the Year of Return. This initiative, launched in 2019, marked 400 years since the first enslaved Africans arrived in America and invited their descendants to return to their ancestral homeland. Offering them citizenship and promoting initiatives like the Year of Return, Ghana has opened its arms to those seeking to reconnect with their roots and reclaim their heritage.
This movement is not just about escaping hardship. It's about reclaiming a heritage. It's about finding a place where they can thrive and be proud of their identity without fear or prejudice. It's about reclaiming a heritage. It's about connecting with a history and culture that was stolen from us generations ago. The journey to Africa is seen as a pilgrimage, a way to honor the ancestors and heal from the generational trauma inflicted by slavery and colonization. It's about connecting with a history and culture that was stolen from us generations ago. For many, this reconnection is deeply spiritual and transformative, offering a sense of wholeness and identity that has long been missing. For many, moving to Africa is seen as a way to heal from the wounds of the past and build a better future for ourselves and our children. It is a step towards creating a legacy of pride and resilience for future generations.
The blackit movement is a complex and multifaceted phenomenon. It encompasses a wide range of experiences and motivations, from those seeking economic opportunities to those driven by a deep desire for cultural and spiritual reconnection. It is a testament to the resilience of the human spirit, the enduring power of hope, and the deep-seated desire for freedom and self-determination. The stories of those who have made the journey are filled with both challenges and triumphs, reflecting the complexity of the human experience. The enduring power of hope, and the deep-seated desire for freedom and self-determination. It is a reminder that the quest for a better life is universal, and that the human spirit is capable of overcoming even the most daunting obstacles, and the deep-seated desire for freedom and self-determination. The blackit movement is a powerful reminder that the fight for equality and justice knows no borders. It is a call to action for all who believe in the fundamental rights of every human being to live with dignity and respect. It is a reminder that the fight for equality and justice knows no borders. The movement continues to grow, inspiring others to seek out their own paths to freedom and fulfillment, wherever that may lead them. For Latinos in America, Trump's re-election has reignited a familiar and deeply rooted fear. The president's hardline stance on immigration, his rhetoric demonizing immigrants, and his administration's policies have created a climate of fear and uncertainty within the Latino community, affecting their daily lives. This fear is particularly acute for undocumented immigrants and their families, who live with the constant and overwhelming threat of deportation.
The stories are truly heartbreaking. Parents being separated from their children is a devastating reality. Families living in constant fear of being torn apart by immigration policies. The emotional toll on these families is immeasurable and deeply felt. The trauma inflicted on these families is a stain on the nation's conscience, a wound that may never heal.
Trump's re-election has only amplified these deep-seated fears. The prospect of another 4 years of his policies fills many Latinos with dread and uncertainty. They worry about their safety, their livelihoods, and their ability to remain in the country they call home, a place they have built their lives. The fear is palpable, etched on the faces of mothers and fathers, reflected in the eyes of innocent children. It is a fear that has become all too familiar for a community that has long been targeted and marginalized, a community that continues to fight for its place in America. Trump's border policies have been a cornerstone of his presidency. From the very beginning, he has emphasized the need for a strong and impenetrable border to protect American interests. His administration has poured billions of dollars into the construction of the border wall, a project that has sparked intense debate and controversy across the nation. The border wall, a symbol of division and exclusion, has become synonymous with his administration. It stands as a physical manifestation of a broader ideology that seeks to isolate and alienate. These policies, however, extend far beyond physical barriers. They encompass a range of measures designed to deter immigration through fear and intimidation. They are rooted in a rhetoric of fear and xenophobia that paints immigrants as criminals and a threat to national security. This narrative has been perpetuated through speeches, media appearances, and policy decisions that emphasize danger and risk. The reality is far different. Immigrants, in truth, are integral to the fabric of American society. They bring diversity, innovation, and a strong work ethic that benefits everyone. Immigrants, both documented and undocumented, make significant contributions to American society. They work in essential industries, start businesses, and enrich our cultural landscape. They are our neighbors, our colleagues, our friends, They are part of the community fabric that makes America unique and vibrant. They enrich our communities and contribute to our economy. Their presence fosters a multicultural environment that is both dynamic and inclusive.
Trump's border policies, however, disregard these contributions. They focus solely on exclusion and division, ignoring the positive impact immigrants have on the nation. They are based on fear, not facts. These policies create an environment of anxiety and uncertainty for many. They're designed to divide, not unite. The walls, both literal and figurative, foster mistrust and separation. These policies have created a climate of fear and uncertainty, not just for immigrants, but for all Americans who believe in a more just and compassionate society. The impact is felt across communities, affecting relationships and social cohesion. The walls that Trump has erected are not just physical barriers, they are barriers of fear, mistrust, and division. These barriers hinder the progress towards a more inclusive society. They are barriers that must be dismantled if we are to build a more inclusive and welcoming nation. The path to unity requires breaking down these walls and fostering understanding and acceptance.
The path forward is challenging, but the goal is clear. A society where everyone feels safe, valued, and included. It is a vision of a future where diversity is celebrated and every individual has the opportunity to thrive. In a move that has sent shockwaves through immigrant communities, Trump has announced plans for the largest deportation operation in American history.
This chilling declaration evokes dark chapters from America's past, bringing to mind the forced removal of Native Americans and the internment of Japanese Americans during World War II.
These mass deportations are not just about enforcing immigration laws, they are about instilling fear and sending a message.
They are about targeting vulnerable communities and tearing families apart.
They're about turning our backs on those who come to our shores seeking a better life.
Communities of color often face the harshest consequences when political climates shift. It's not just about policies. It's about the real, everyday impact on people's lives.
These impacts can be devastating, leading to increased vulnerability and marginalization.
The departure of skilled workers and families can lead to significant economic challenges. We're talking about a brain drain that affects innovation and productivity.
And socially, the loss of community members can weaken the social fabric, leaving gaps that are hard to fill.
When people leave, it's not just numbers. It's the loss of culture, support systems, and the very essence of what makes communities strong.
This unraveling can lead to a sense of disconnection and isolation among those who remain.
We need to find common ground and work together to heal these divides.
It's essential to listen to each other, to understand the fears and hopes that drive us.
Community initiatives and open dialogues can play a crucial role in mending the fractures.
By bridging the divide, we can build a more inclusive and resilient nation for everyone.